At 12 o'clock, we got Texas Tech, which is 3-1, traveling to number 25 Kansas State, which is also 3-1 in a double elimination game. Whoever wins this game, I will be talking about next week. Whoever loses it, I might still be talking about next week, depending on who they play. Considering there's not a lot of Big 12 teams that have been eliminated so far, I would give it a pretty good bet that I will be talking about either of them regardless. But Kansas State favored by 8 points on ESPN+. For Texas Tech, Donovan Smith has gone 109 and 166 so far this year, thrown for 1,116 yards, 9 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Taj Brooks on the ground has had 39 carries for 168 yards and 4 touchdowns. And Miles Price through the air has had 25 catches for 265 yards and 2 touchdowns. Adrian Martinez for Kansas State has gone 62 of 100, thrown for 538 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Deuce Vaughn has had 87 carries for 468 yards and 3 touchdowns. And Malik Knowles had 14 catches for 144 yards and a touchdown. Kansas State leads the series 13-9 all-time against Texas Tech, and last 6 games have gone Kansas State's way, ranging from 2016 to 2021. Last Texas Tech victory was in 2015, and they haven't won in Manhattan since 2008, so it's been a while since they've won at Kansas State. Honestly, both these teams coming off very impressive wins, right? Texas Tech was playing a top 25 Texas team last week. They were at home for sure. They were down by 14 points late. They come back all the way. They take a field goal lead with about 15 seconds left. But then Texas drive down the football field really quickly. It gets a game-tying field goal. And then it goes to overtime. But somehow Texas Tech still figures out a way to come out on top. Kansas State, on the other hand, had the most impressive win last week. I feel like everyone would admit that. Kansas State, without Skylar Thompson, the quarterback that had been their leadership for so many years. And this was Chris Kleiman's first game against Oklahoma without Skylar Thompson as their quarterback. Guy that, by the way, is the third string. He made the 53-man roster for Miami. So and honestly had one of the most impressive preseasons of all rookie quarterbacks. This was a really good QB, guys, for Kansas State. Adrian Martinez transfers over from Nebraska, a Nebraska team that lost heartbreakingly to Oklahoma last year. Lost a lot of heartbreaking games last year. If you're a Nebraska fan, you know this. But Adrian Martinez transferred to Kansas State. And he puts an absolute doozy of performance against Oklahoma. Absolutely deserved that bow he took at the end of the game. Deuce Vaughn, absolute insane football game for him as well. Honestly, looked like one of the most impressive players I've seen in college football in a long time. And it wasn't just, like, honestly, I understand Adrian Martinez's stats aren't the greatest, but it was just big-time plays he made. Not to mention all the drops where he would literally put it in the bucket and it was dropped. Like a beautiful throw in the bucket and it's dropped straight through the hands. But not to mention that, I feel like everyone needs to mention, I think it was 3rd and 19. It could have been 3rd and 16. Adrian Martinez scrambles all the way to the goal line. This was a play where if you punt the ball back to Oklahoma, it's very likely they score another touchdown there and they tie the game, right? There's only so much your defense can do against Oklahoma's offense, right? And it was just a big-time play. It looked like that's what Kansas State was going to be forced to do, is punt it back to Oklahoma. And Adrian Martinez makes a big-time play. And that's what they're saying is big-time players make big-time plays in big-time games. And that was a big-time play made for sure in a big-time game. What a play made by Adrian Martinez. And I've just been gushing about both these football teams, but they got such big wins last week against rivals. And honestly, great chance for a letdown for both these football teams, and that's why I think it's really hard to tell. I think Kansas State, overall-wise, has more talent than Texas Tech does. I think they're a better football team. That's why I'm going to go Kansas State to win and cover the 8-point spread, but I do think it's a close game for the majority of this football game.